didn't always agree with his views and his vision. I certainly know they always came from a good place, and it's an honor to be here to celebrate him today.
But first, let me take a selfie.
Incredible. Jim Flaherty's funeral, though, yesterday, of course, and it was an elegant and poignant affair. Protesters were expected, but even they, in the end, realized it will be in appallingly bad taste. But their manner did not extend to the internet, where there was vulgarity and malice beyond the pale. Straight Talk contributor Marissa Simkiw has been monitoring this trash. But before, let's talk about Justin Trudeau. And people have said today, well, what could he do? It's very simple. You say, I'd love to have a photo with you, but I don't think this is the appropriate occasion. It's the funeral of a man.
This is just another one of Justin Trudeau's gaffes. Look, I like to refer to that as a selfie at a funeral. I don't think there's any appropriate place to take a selfie at a picnic, let alone at the state funeral for Jim Flaherty. I think they're self-indulgent, but
I think they're quite nice, actually. I don't disagree. But a funeral is a place for calm, serenity, and respect for someone who has gone. His family are there, for goodness sake. He doesn't pose for selfies. And you don't have to be rude to the person. You just say, I'd love to, but just not now. Another time, or if you write to me, I'll send you a signed photograph, but it's a funeral.
Yeah, no, listen, in fairness, Justin Trudeau wasn't the only one to pose for a selfie. Apparently Rob Ford did too, although with, decidedly less enthusiasm as Justin Trudeau did. You actually saw him come away from where his cronies were standing and take a photo with an adoring fan. So it was in poor taste.
Yeah. Poor taste. There is a woman, a legend in her own lunchtime. I'd not heard of her, but apparently she worked for Global and Huffington Post. Tell us about her.
Her name's Karen Geyer, and actually she was a contributor for Global and Huffington Post. And after Jim Flaherty died, she actually was able to sort of show just how sort of vile and despicable a human being is.
Keep this on for a while. Turns out you can jizz too hard at the demise of the CBC, Jim Flaherty. I mean, that will be in appalling taste at any time, but it's nice that Flaherty left this mortal coil before he could collect his pension or CPP. He has 3 sons, one of them with a handicap, actually, who may have read that. His widow, his friends. That is appalling.
Yeah, she's human scum, well, Michael. It's not appropriate. It's especially after someone has passed. But even if someone hadn't passed, you don't talk about people that way. Her tweets were totally vile, and as a result, Dean Skoroikio's actually contacted Huffington Post and Global and asked that they remove her from their staff. Now, I don't know whether or not she received a salary or was paid, or she was just a free contributor. But Global did respond. The senior VP of Global did respond. He was vague in his response. We're not clear whether or not she was actually fired, but we do know that she's no longer a contributor of Global. Huffington Post, however, has not responded.
Well, they don't pay anyway, so I don't know if that will be such an issue. But they published so many people. There are other tweets, though. I mean, there was all sort of... apparently, the protesters were told not to go, because they had planned to, but they were told not to go.
Exactly. And speaking to one of the police officers at the event, they'd seen a lot of traffic online, people threatening to protest Jim Flaherty's funeral. And so they actually sent out mass tweets to various organizations. I believe Occupy was one of them. Of course, this church was beside the Occupy grounds.
Things are going up as we're speaking here, and I'm not seeing them. Okay, now, some of the tweets that took place. But look, we have to let the sewers breathe. Comments, tweets, there's so many of them are just vile. I mean, what are the sort of things they were saying, though? They were rejoicing in his death, were they?
They were rejoicing in his death. They were calling for people to stage a mass protest, a G20-like protest at his funeral. Some people calling him all kinds of names in the book, swear words, among other things that I won't repeat on camera, Michael, but totally vile. I mean, just clearly opportunistic, vile tweets coming from people that, quite frankly, see enjoyment in grave dancing.
You know, when Jack Layton died, and I disagreed with Jack on many issues, but I was fond of him and I regarded him as a friend, I gave him honor and respect on this show. I said I didn't agree with the hagiography. I thought that turning him into a saint and then the biopic was all ridiculous. I think he may have cringed at it too. But I said I respect the man greatly, and it's a great shame that he died. it's one thing to be critical of someone's political contribution, another to rejoice in their passing. I cannot understand these people, I really can't.
And that was really evident, too, by the fact that there were so many people that were able to cross party lines, come to this funeral, and share their sort of sympathy for the family.
Do you believe them? I mean, seriously, do you believe that some of the people who were there actually liked Jim Flaherty, or they thought they had to be there?
I am not in a position to speculate about a number of the ministers and politicians that were there. But, you know, I have to say, Tom Mulcair acted with class.
Well, he's a classy man.
He rejected interviews from various politicians, and I think I didn't at least see. These politicians have to remember, cameras are always on them, and I didn't see him.
Mulcair is an adult. He's a grown-up. Again, I don't agree with him, and I think he can be quite harsh at times, but he's a highly intelligent, impressive man. Justin Trudeau is just out of his depth. We've said this so long, not ready for prime time, not ready for Prime Minister. And you're not rude to someone who wants a selfie, but you just say, I'd love to, but not now.
He didn't behave as an adult. He's an overgrown man-child, as Ezra likes to call him. So, no, it's clear that he acted without class. And actually, his team came out on the defensive and tweeted, there's nothing wrong with Justin Trudeau.
There's much wrong. And Jim Flaherty was a man from a working-class background who got a scholarship to a great university, was an extremely bright man. Justin Trudeau is Justin Trudeau. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome, Michael.